We can see you coming down the ladder now. Okay, I just checked, getting back up to that first step. That hasn't collapsed too far. Roger, we copy. That's a pretty good little jump. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. We got a beautiful picture of you guys up down there.
For decades, NASA has intrigued many people with the exploration of our universe. Like so many before me, and as a young boy, my parents introduced me to the wonders of space exploration. I listened with wonder when my grade school teachers told the class of the Apollo missions. I felt the excited tickle of goosebumps when watching the first footsteps on the moon and hearing those famous words. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. American heroes such as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin continue to educate so many on the importance of the mission to the moon. I remember watching the Challenger mission disaster, wondering if space exploration missions would end. Thankfully, the scientists didn't let the tragedy of the Challenger mission derail from the ultimate frontier. Sending up several unmanned missions, such as the Voyager probe and the Galileo, to explore our solar system and beyond has dazzled many with a multitude of photos from space. The vast expanse of the unexplored universe has intrigued many for so long. But what if I told you those footsteps never happened? What if I told you that NASA isn't what it says it is, and they've been lying to us the whole time? Crazy, yes? One former NASA employee doesn't think so.
Hey, I got your message. I said I'd give you a call back.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you. We have to discuss this Charlie video. We have to talk about it. For fuck's sake, what was that about?
You mean the one I put up, or the one from the live thing?
Well, I mean, everyone is going absolutely mental, right? Because all of a sudden we hear that you have exposed Charlie's identity to a flirt, and he's asking what the fuck. Head office is asking what the fuck. Nobody knows what's going on, and there's people doing digging now. So, I mean, You're in trouble.
Hey everybody, Johnny O from the Plot Hole here. I'm on my way to meet up with a guy who calls himself Bob. Now, some of you may remember a couple of weeks ago when Professor Dave was on the show. I got that email, and I read it over the air. And it's, if you want to get it word for word, just go back and listen to the podcast. But basically, what this guy alleges, and he alleges huge cover-ups, that people in the, quote, debunker community are part of a grander conspiracy. I mean, I don't know if I believe that, to be honest with you, but, I mean, I'm interested to see what he has to say. Now, I'm not going by myself, so I'm meeting up with a bunch of my buddies, excuse me, just to make sure that everything is on the up and up. I mean, look, the thought that this could be somebody trying to cause me harm has, crossed my mind. So, taking precautions just to make sure that everybody's safe, on the up and up. Got a bunch of buddies coming with me, so we're going to sit down and have an interview with the former NASA employee, Bob. I mean, do I believe what he has to say? Not really. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. But, I mean, he says he has evidence. So I'll look at his evidence, and if I can get it verified or even figure out how to fucking do that, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I question his motives contacting me of all people. So we'll see what happens. Maybe something awesome. I don't know. Maybe we'll expose him for being just one of these crazy conspiratorial minded people. Or maybe he'll expose one of the biggest cover-ups in the history of the world. Yeah, here we are, going to meet Bob. Johnny O out.
So the documentation of this alleged cover-up that you gave us is quite dense. Is there any way you can kind of break it down for us?
The cover-up was conceived to keep the public in the dark about the direct observational truth of our cosmology. In order to maintain this illusion, we have directed an enormous amount of resources to identifying, recruiting, and training civilian consultants who would then engage with the populace at predetermined points of internet ingress. They called it the New Age Social Agenda.
So you're talking about NASA.
Yes, NASA. What the public sees is what the individuals at the top of that program want them to see. The truth is actually hidden in plain sight, which we have seen throughout history is the best way to conceal it.
So these are some bold claims that you're making. Exactly what evidence do you have to support your version of NASA?
You have to keep in mind, it's not my version of NASA. It's what's really going on. I have hours upon hours of phone calls, video conferences, domestic surveillance, deposed department memorandums, Q-level depositions from the DOJ and the offices of the AG. Most people, most civilians, don't even know that they're a part of the program.
I have the documentation you brought along, and we're doing the best that we can to go through it. So let's move on to the major players you mentioned in our initial phone call. Who are they?
While I can't reveal specific names, I'd like to keep the potential of reprisals to an absolute minimum. I don't want to see another Barstow incident. Many know Charles McCann. His name, unfortunately, was revealed publicly.
Hello? Hey, Chuck. What the fuck, man?
Wait, what the fuck did I do?
I don't fucking know.
What the fuck do you mean?
It's your fucking got out.
How the fuck did that happen?
Who the fuck have you been fucking talking to?
Fuck, it's probably that Irish demon fuck. What the fuck do you think's gonna fucking happen?
Fuck, man. You're probably gonna get fucking agents.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Good fucking luck. What the fuck?
Well,
You are not authorized to expose people like that.
No,
what
I know.
What the hell happened?
I explained. I sent a email to Charlie the other day after it happened. So I got intel a couple of days before the live thing saying that somebody had figured out, somebody in the UK had figured out who Charlie was and realised that he wasn't in Scotland, that he was down in Wales or whatever, and that they knew his real ID and all the rest of it. And so I just had to jump on it. So I emailed Charlie. I was like, look, just a heads up, somebody's, you've been being rumbled, and I said I'm gonna message this guy myself before this other person does, and I'll write it off as a troll. And so I didn't hear back from Charlie. I tried ringing, who, and couldn't get through to anybody. So so I just sent the messages to the guy on Instagram under a sock account, and he bought it up. I knew he would.
Thing, you messaged Nathan Thompson of all people. You messaged Nathan Thompson giving out the details of one of our agents. Why? Why did you think you had the authorization to do that?
No, I knew it would be going above heads and stuff, but the whole point is that if I didn't do it and the info got to him from somebody else, then I would have had no way of controlling it. At least this way I was able to control it, write it off as a troll, and if the real info got to him...
That's not your job to do.
I know, but I'm saying, if the real info got to him...
I brought you in here. Anything you do has to come through me, or we're both finished.
Yeah, I know.
We're both in a deep right now, and for you to go above my head and go behind my back and go to a flirp and expose one of our agents, by God, you are lucky it was Charlie. You're lucky that he is able to be so experienced to just write it off and pretend like it didn't happen, or pretend that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
You're so lucky, and it wasn't on air.
There's also Simon Dan, the individuals behind his show, Shelley Lewis, Mark Sargent.
Mark Sargent?
Oh yes. Mr. Sargent was recruited as a deep operative from the very beginning. We recruited him while he was working on Star Alley. At first he was hesitant, but we planted enough clues to get him to explore it himself. From that point on, he was dedicated. It was really quite easy at first. The internet was still new enough that people had difficulty verifying information. But once the information era boomed, the program encountered unforeseen issues. The Earth's cosmology was easy to prove once you had the information. People were waking up to the cover-up. So NASA had to deploy a quickly designed response, which we named Second Avenue. We started by planting deep state operatives in the highest government positions in the world with current socioeconomic issues that failed to bring about the outcomes that we desired. So it was determined that social media, given its presence in the Arab Spring, the Hong Kong protests, and other national uprisings across the globe, one of the largest tasks we undertook was to oversaturate the debunker community, to muddy the water as much as possible, to reinforce the notion that people standing against the community were asking all the right questions.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was going to be on air, because I told the guy, look, if you say it to him on air, it's going to catch him out and he won't be able to react. The idea behind that was I had actually messaged the other person, Cowboy, and I told him, I was like, look, this is what's happened. He read the message, so he knew, but he didn't respond. So I was like, fuck it, it's too late now. They're just going to have to fucking go with it. So I started making the other video straight away so that I'd be able to release it. And it would be like proof.
You actually think by releasing that video, your own video saying, look what I did, that would solve the problem?
Yeah, I did, because like...
HQ are in uproar over this.
Who?
The headquarters are in uproar. Charlie is going spare. He's trying to keep it calm. He's trying to do things behind the scenes. But now we have people actually investigating into this. You think Nathan Thompson is the one that you have to worry about?
Who's
He's just an idiot.
investigating from our side or from someone else?
From theirs.
And what precisely was your role in all of this?
I was the head of the Southwest region and target management.
And what exactly did that entail?
We planted individuals at specific points to minimize overlap in specific regions. Consultants like David, you know him as Team Skeptic. Notice how he's not a scientist, yet he seems to have all this information that proves what the Earth is. That is what's most important. We gave him all of that. We put him in contact with others like him, some who have been in the program longer, and we gave him the tools and equipment necessary to recruit others. This helps to maintain a minimum amount of direct contact with the program.
And I'm telling you now, if his credentials are leaked, if he is exposed at all, we all go under. We're all in trouble. So yeah, HQ are not happy about this, and because I brought you in, I'm in trouble. And I'm having to cover for you. Again, we're both in big trouble over this. That video that you did has not solved a damn thing. So what are you going to do about it?
Well, I think it did, because he didn't respond about it. He didn't make a big deal about it. All the comments are like people saying, we got him. And like, we have an oppo in the States that he's really close to Thompson. And he was like, yeah, he was pissed off that it was a troll. So I think it worked, but I see what you mean. I know the way they fucking grab onto anything they can, but when their fucking head boy isn't going along with it, nobody else is going to go along with it. It's like that other video.
Well, you better hope that worked, because there is a lot of pissed off people right now. You went above your station. That was not your responsibility to do. If you had information that Charles was leaked, that Charlie was leaked, your job was to get it to me so I could get it to them and they could handle it. So please do not step out of line again, because this shit is serious.
So what now? What do I, like, do I just leave it, or do you want me to put out anything, or what?
Well, look, the damage is bloody done. The damage is done. So HQ are trying to sort shit. I'm in touch with Charlie now at the moment. We'll figure something out. But please, if you get information, your job is to get it to me.
See, I
had to start a channel. I've had to start a channel and pretend to be a debunker and all the rest of it, and do all of that to watch you. So that I can be close to you to make sure that you don't fuck up again.
So what exactly is the agency's agenda?
To keep the truth about the cosmology of the Earth a secret.
And all of that points to
that NASA is involved in one of the largest scale cover-ups in human history.
Okay, let's take this back to the beginning. So when did this whole cover-up start?
It's difficult to pinpoint an exact date when the program started. It would be easier to go back to when NASA started its campaigns of disinformation and countermeasures.
Okay, so what methods or tactics has the program used in order to keep the truth out of the hands of the public?
It was determined early on that direct and swift action against any individual known to be involved in the Flat Earth Society could result in situations where we were at odds with the public. To maintain a degree of deniability, the program has seen to it that every time the FES began to grow, to a certain extent, they encounter some sort of setback, something that forces them to begin again. NASA was founded to counter this athetic society and was successful in accomplishing that goal. But there have been other incidents. The fire at Charles Johnson's house and the sudden death of his wife. The introduction of biblical scholars to flat earth groups to create a schism that would break up the society into combative denominations. Logan Paul's performance at the Denver conference. The manipulated footage from the Behind the Curve documentary. The most recent actions being when we sent operatives to Frisco to discredit and blackmail Robbie Davidson, into relinquishing control of the international conference. And of course, the death of Michael Hughes, who was managing to get further into his rocket surveys that he may have exposed them.
All right. This is how my house was left. I don't know what happened, but I just got back from taking the dogs on a walk, and it looks like somebody's been in my house. I stole my wife's computer. General disarray. Looks like I've gone through all of my shit. I don't know what they wanted with that. They messed up my area, and it looks like they've been through my files and stole those. Don't know why they left this stuff here. Doesn't make any sense to me. But this is not how I left my station. This right here belongs on my wife's wall over in her workstation. So obviously this was left. My computer was off, and this is a message that was left for me today. So police have been called. They're on their way to take my statement, and I'm going to continue looking through the house to make sure they didn't take anything else. So I know what you're trying to do. You're not going to fight me off. This is going one way and one way only. You guys ramped it up, so let's ramp it up.
Police department.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some information on a robbery break-in that happened at my house the other night.
Okay. Sir, what is the report number on the responding officer gave you?
Hang on one second. It is... I've got it written down. It is 2 4 7 8 9 6 D.
Can I get the name on the report?
You want my name?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's John.
Can you spell the last name?
E-A.
Please verify the address.
It is 12 Boulevard. Zip code is...
And when did this incident occur?
the 19th of July, roughly 8 o'clock p.m.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir, there's no report on file with that information.
Are you sure? Double check your system, please.
Sir, there is nothing in my system with that case file number, nothing with your name, and nothing with that address.
Would the responding officer's name be attached with it?
I can try. What is the name?
Detective...
No, I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing with that responding officer's name attached to it.
I mean, are you sure you didn't put a typo in with the address?
I am very good at typing, sir. No, there is no mistake on my end.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on, because somebody broke into my place. I called the police. I filed the report. I have the report number. Yeah, so what's going on? Why is this being buried?
I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing in my system with that information. Are you sure you filed a report?
Absolutely. Like I said, I've got the officer's information. I've got the report number, so I don't know what's going on here.
Take the hint, sir. Leave it alone.
The program is not above the most heinous and insidious of actions to ensure the protection of this information. Make no mistake, they will do anything to ensure that the truth will never get out.
What about, I genuinely thought that Charlie knew, because so I couldn't contact him, I couldn't get through to him in an email, I couldn't get through to him on the phone, I contacted H, they couldn't get through to him, so I always super chat, so that we get the name and whatever, and so I super chatted, I was like, did he ask you if you were Charles McCann? That was all part of my cover, so that when I made my video, I could go, haha, look, fucking, he did read it out, and he played it off really well, and fucking Texan Cowboy, whatever, he played it off really well, so I think we're covered. I think we're covered enough that if anybody questions it, we have people that will just fucking spam links to the video proving that it was fake. So at least we've got that.
You had better hope that's the case. Because the reason why you couldn't get through to him was he was on a mission. He was asked to do something. That's why he was incognito. And the fact that you went and you exposed him like that, you better hope that your video is enough.
So is there any contingencies or any plans like backups or?
Well, there's a meeting happening in the next couple of days, and we're going through what can be done to manage the situation.
Do you need me?
Until then, your head low.
Yeah. All right.
Promise me.
Yeah, I will. Fuck it. I just made a call. I thought it was the best thing to do at the time. I mean, it wasn't my intention to go over anybody's head or fucking, that wasn't the plan. But I just did what I thought I had to do at the time to protect myself and him. Because I thought if they find out who Charlie is, we're fucked. Because he's like, besides, Danny and all the rest of it, besides Danny's like pretty much top guy, him and fucking Cowboy. So if either of them gets outed, we're fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I did what I did.
Anything that you hear from now on comes through me. Before you do anything, you go through me. That's what I'm here for.
I will do.
Okay.
The whole thing with Thompson. So the latest info I got there, we've got a guy really close to him, and
So, specifically, how did you stop many of these attacks from the Flat Earth Society?
In the beginning, we didn't have to do much. Remember, we weren't fighting the uphill battle of the information age created by the internet until the late 90s.
So that's when you had to ramp up your efforts.
Yes. We launched a massive information scrub in 1997, when we burned most of Johnson's contacts and files. His wife, who managed the contact list, died shortly thereafter.
Died?
She was determined to be a liability.
I see.
We maintained a close eye on certain members, but considered the matter closed until Daniel Shenton revitalized the Flat Earth Society and web discussion forums in 2004, and then publicly relaunched the FES in 2009. That brought about a swift damage control response. That's when our program started. I was pulled off of other programs to be a part of the new NASA.
So what other programs?
Other misinformation programs.
Such as?
The moon landing, ISS stagings, Antarctica. I don't think there's a campaign I haven't assisted with at one point or another.
So help me understand, why now? Why after all this time, why do you blow the whistle on this whole operation now?
We lost some ground when the black swan image surfaced. I worked day and night with the other managers on that one, and we certainly we discovered that the image came from one of our own, who went missing a week after the photo surfaced. That's when I decided to break away.
But why contact me and not someone else like Nathan Thompson or Eric Dubay? I mean, I'm nobody in either one of these communities.
That is what I hope makes you the perfect choice. Mr. Thompson discredited himself with his arrest, and individuals like Dubé, they're only interested in the monetary aspect, profiting off of speculation. That makes them a variable that we that we just can't control. I saw that you were getting close to specifically planted members of the debunking community, while also giving flat earth proponents a platform that doesn't make it a point to openly discredit them. Your impartiality makes for a good starting point for trying to get this information out there before things spiral out of control. I don't want to lose any more colleagues. I don't want to see another Barstow incident.
So why not take it to the mainstream media? I mean, with their resources, they have a better chance of protecting you than me.
The program influences everywhere, including the media. Everything from major news outlets to your basic internet search results. Google shutting down particular searches, Facebook, YouTube, blocking, censoring certain videos. The individuals who run these companies all participate with the program in some varying degree. My hope is that by utilizing a less monitored access point to the community, this can gain further traction and assist those fighting for the truth.
I mean, you have to realize that this is a bit of a hard sell. I mean, somebody could easily dismiss all this as, the ramblings of a disgruntled employee or a crackpot.
I know. I know it will be an uphill battle. But if this information gets into the correct hands within the community, then they'll know what to do. In short, I have faith. I have faith that the truth will prevail. It really is all I can do. I just hope they take the next step.
Well, I'm not really sure what will happen after we get through all this information, but I'll do the best that I can to make sure that your message is delivered fairly.
Thank you.
So, where do we go from here? After sifting through so much information, listening to hours and hours of phone calls, reading volumes of memos, and watching what seems like a never-ending reel of surveillance videos, I leave you with this. Something is going on at NASA. Something they don't want us to know. Something dark and vast that explains beyond the general public's comprehension. I hope Bob hasn't put himself, or me, in any more danger than we already are. I will continue to sift through this information and release it as it is properly vetted. Keep an open mind, look to the heavens, and never stop asking questions. Until next time, I'm Johnny O, the Plot Hole out.